All right, Audrey, so today is your day. We're giving you a breakthrough coaching session here.
I'm excited.
You are?
Yeah, I've been really needing some type of breakthrough.
What's been going on?
So I'm in my 5th year of running my own business. I have a digital marketing company, and I have a lot of, I feel like I struggle with micromanaging and getting stuck working in my business and not on it. And I have this really great team. It's small, but we're mighty in our power. And I'm excited about what they're doing and how far and how fast they've grown in their ability to work and help me. I feel like I'm holding us back at this point.
Okay. Good awareness. Honesty.
Yeah. A little bit of fear.
I hear that. Okay. So what do you really want from this session then? What's going to create that breakthrough for you?
Learning how I can find tools to keep myself from going into those micromanaging phases or those controlling moments where I start becoming more of a manager and I step out of that leader role and then it's like a slippery slope. It's like I can't stop. Once I start, doing one thing, it's another thing, and the next thing you know, I lost my whole day to micromanaging.
Yes, sounds like you really get into the flow of managing when it happens.
Yeah, because I'm super good at doing the work. That's how I started my business.
Sure.
I started as a freelancer where I was managing everything. I've never had a business partner. I've never had anybody like a right-hand person. So it's very easy for me to think it's on me. I have to do it. If you can't do it, I've given you the opportunity to make edits and adjustments and you're still not getting it, just give it back to me and I'll handle it.
Okay. I definitely hear some opportunity there.
Yeah.
Is that a one strike you're out or?
It used to be.
Okay.
It fully used to be. And I was actually having lunch with a girl who worked with me for about a year and a half very recently. And I was kind of talking to her really openly about it. And she very lovingly said, you do that a lot.
Okay.
And she was like, you would give, one chance. And if I didn't get it right on that one chance, you would take it away.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I feel bad.
I can see you almost kind of sighing over hearing that. Yeah. How'd that make you feel?
I was bummed that I felt like in that moment as her mentor that I kind of failed her a little bit to not enable her to make mistakes. And I'm getting better, but I was also excited because I'm like, okay, I'm giving a few more chances now. I have strike 2, and if time permits I can have a strike 3, but sometimes time does not permit. We're on these deadlines to have the content completed in this form so that I can get it to the client so that they can review it. What if they have further edits? So it's there's a lot of doing, but there's more revising before we're finalized. So it's making sure that there's enough time to do all of that.
Sure.
When we have, Monday through Friday.
Right. Okay. All right. I hear some of your concerns. I'm curious, what would it even look like for you? You want to be this better leader. You want to not micromanage, work on your business instead of in your business. Do you even have a vision of what that looks like?
I do.
Okay.
But I don't at the same time because I feel like I started catching this vision back in 2020 of I need to get out of working in my business. I need to be able to lift my head and look around and have a higher up perspective and not just be so account manager.
Sure.
And rise up to that business owner position. And I feel like I have fought tooth and nail since 2020 to get to where I am right now.
Okay.
But what I thought it was going to look like and what it's looked like so far haven't aligned. And I feel like when I get too far ahead of myself, it almost hinders me more than it helps me.
So when you say get too far ahead of yourself, explain that to me.
Okay, so for me, that's I see it, I want it, I start acting like I already have it.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
How does that hurt you?
I feel like it hurts me because like when what I want doesn't align with where I'm at or like what is available to make that happen in that moment, I get frustrated.
Okay.
I get a little bit snippy. And I kind of get like an attitude problem.
Okay.
To be honest, like I'll kind of start copying an attitude about it.
Okay. So,
which isn't helping me.
I hear that. When you say you think you're the one holding you back, you're creating good awareness around that. So you have really high expectations. As soon as you see what it looks like, you're like, I want it. And if you're not getting it, that causes that frustration.
Totally.
And where does that send you?
It usually will force me to start working harder,
Okay.
or I'll start trying to like force things, or again, it puts me back in the micromanaging kind of downward spiral of I have to do everything, I have to handle it. It's only going to happen if I make it happen. Versus enabling people to come alongside me and truly like embracing them and their abilities and slowing down and like letting them help.
Right. So you have good clarity around what it's causing you to do versus what you really want it to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like we maybe just kind of named a trigger there for you.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that.
What did you catch there?
The, like, I think just the being more reactive to when things aren't going my way. Which kind of stems into other areas of my life too. I think it's only child syndrome at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm an only child, and when growing up, if I wanted something, I got it. If I wanted to do something, I did it. If I put my mind to accomplishing something, it happened.
Okay.
Because I had that support system that was very focused on my success. So in life, in relationships, in my work relationships, in my personal relationship, man, if I don't get like what I want out of a situation, like I cop an attitude really hard. And I've been noticing it more this year especially. I think there's been more awareness around it because I've been wanting to stop doing that and allowing people to kind of come in and make mistakes and not taking it personally and allowing for like me to not get my way. But then it's scary because I'm like, but then if I don't get my way, like I'm not going to get the outcome. And then what about all the things I've been working towards? And is it going to compromise everything? Like, especially in my business, it's like my name is on the line. People are working with my company, but they're really coming to work with me because so much of my business is referral based. So it's like, the pressure is on. Yeah,
I can hear the amount of pressure and weight you tie to just one incident of not getting your way. You have a whole story wrapped into that.
It's kind of crazy.
Not crazy, but we have to understand like what our subconscious beliefs are and stories are in order to change them.
Oh, that's good.
So when you think about the story that you have, when something doesn't go your way, kind of summarize what you just realized there. What's the story that you write?
I get frustrated. I get fearful.
Yes.
And then I start reacting to try to take back control.
Correct. Control. You said the key word there. You put so much weight, like this whole thing is going to fall apart. Like I've got to get control of it immediately. Okay. So what if we rerouted that story? What if we created a new story and belief around when you get frustrated?
Okay.
What could it be?
That's a really good question. To not get frustrated.
Well, let me pause you there for a second. Not that you're not going to get frustrated.
Okay.
That feeling might come up for you, like, oh my gosh, somebody didn't do it right. I'm feeling frustrated. But it's how you're going to respond to that frustration that's going to change everything for you.
Okay. Wow. It's honestly really hard to think of like an opposite outcome or even like ideate around that because I've like never thought of an ulterior reaction. It's always just been that response.
Sure.
In everything. So now, you know, it's in my business too. It's in how I'm managing my team. Wow. I think I'm going to have to think on that. I don't know what that looks like right now.
Well, then if you're not sure the response, let's figure out, go back to the outcome that you want.
Okay.
So what do you want that outcome to be?
I think where I'm trusting
Okay.
more.
Okay.
So definitely being more trusting and I think it's honestly like stepping back instead of leaning in. So most of the time I'll lean into it and I'll go harder to try to get a better resolution versus kind of stepping back and allowing things to play out a little bit and kind of then needing to see where I need to step in instead of trying to control everything in that moment.
Okay. So when you think about that's the outcome you want, right? You even said something earlier about I want to not react. I want to let people try again and not get in there and start micromanaging. So you know what you want it to look like. That's going to create the response that you choose.
Okay.
So you just said, I want to trust it. I want to step back instead of lean in.
Yeah.
Kind of give time, let the emotion, sounds like, dissipate.
Yeah.
And empower your people.
Yes. Yeah.
So if that's what you want to happen, what's the thought you're going to have to choose in that moment of frustration? You have a fork in the road here. We can go the old way and jump in and react and start doing things, or we can take the new way. And what's the thought that's going to lead you down that new path?
It definitely revolves around trust.
Okay.
That was the first word that came to mind.
Okay. Who do you need to trust?
I think I need to trust myself.
Okay.
And I need to trust my team.
Okay.
And trust the timing. That, like, it's okay if it's not working out right now, right in this moment when I want it to happen, because I need to step back and get that perspective of, like, it's still happening. It hasn't, like, fully happened yet. And so knowing that there's still time to make necessary changes and not feeling so, like, rushed for a result.
Okay. So I hear patience.
Patience. That's a hard one for me.
So trust and patience, I'm hearing. And you know what's interesting about what you just said is when you first started talking about your vision, you said, you know, I wanted to get on top and see everything.
Yeah.
And now you're even saying right now, like, take a step back, get perspective. That aligns with the vision you want.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Okay.
Did you see how what your vision is going to be part of your response to the situation?
Wow. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good.
And
okay.
So that becomes your chosen response.
Right.
You don't have to default.
Okay.
I saw you take a big sigh.
No, it's like good. It's like I feel almost relieved hearing that of like it's gonna be okay, and it's like actually the way that I've been dealing with it isn't the best way to deal with it because it's not helping me get the outcome that I want. It's not helping me lift my head up and get to that next level as a business owner. It's actually pushing me down and keeping me in that role of an account manager and not an owner. Oh, it's exciting. I'm actually kind of like really excited now. It's scary, but it's exciting.
It is. And I want to bring something else forward that you said. There was fear. What is the ultimate fear there?
Feel of failure for sure.
Okay.
And letting people down.
Okay.
I don't want the people who trust me with helping them grow their business to feel like I didn't do that. Like I didn't step in and do what I know we can do. And having to trust other people to come alongside and assist with that it's a lot of trust. And if it doesn't work out, like, it's my name on the line. So I'm definitely afraid of that kind of coming back to bite me in the butt.
Okay. Is that fear realistic, though, in that one particular moment?
In that one moment, it's probably not.
Okay.
It's probably, like you were saying earlier, I have like this big narrative around this one singular moment that is kind of all crashing down on that one, mistake. When in the scheme of things, it's not a make it or break it moment. And I think I make things a lot of one mistake and I'm like, it's all like crumbling down, whereas it's not.
It's not. Yeah, that fear isn't really realistic if something goes a little wrong in what you do.
Right.
I don't think your client's going to, that's it, I'm out of here. One little mistake, right?
Right. Like, my clients have a lot of grace with me and with the process. And I think I need to extend that grace to my team as well.
I like that. I like it. Okay, so catch me up. Summarize what you're taking away right now.
That I do have a choice. That my current responses to situations that aren't going my way aren't helping to get me to that ultimate vision. And that the road less traveled is actually going to require more patience, more trust, and for me to step back rather than lean in.
Those are some good takeaways.
Yeah.
So it all sounds good, like you have the takeaways from it. I want to give you some empowerment here to figure out, like, what is it going to take for you to trust yourself?
Right.
What do you think?
I think having a better list of things that I can go to like remind me of how far I've come.
Okay.
And going back to that list of almost like my hit list, like my greatest victories, you know, the best of Let's Be Social and all the things that I've accomplished, to remind myself that, like, you didn't come this far just to like end here, and to remind myself that, like, it's all part of the process.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes I get so focused on like the end result that I miss what's going on in the moment of like where I'm at and what I need to learn from these various things that are happening. Because, like, if I'm just managing, I'm not really learning anything.
Sure.
I'm just getting the bare minimum of the job done. And to be able, like, I really want to lead. I want to be a better leader. I want to be this mentor. I want to help people, especially in my industry and you know, the businesses that I'm working with, to help them better understand and better realize their goals with navigating, you know, growth online. I can't do that if I'm just telling people what to do.
Absolutely. So, you know, I hear you saying what you need to trust yourself. The other part of it, and you use trust in the conversation a lot. So that must be a big thing for you.
It is.
Yes. What is it going to take for you to trust your team?
That's where I'm struggling
Okay.
still. I thought it was putting better systems and processes in place, which did help a little bit.
Okay.
Because we have more transparency in how we're managing our projects and, you know, status updates and all of that. And I've asked my team for better communication and more transparency with me, but I'm not getting that from them. And I don't know what else to do to get that communication stronger with them, to where it's not me asking for updates, it's them giving me updates. So I am trusting them to handle things a lot more than I have in the past, where I'm not micromanaging every project, but I still want updates.
Sure.
On where we're at. You know, did you get this, X, Y, and Z? Have you reached out? And I feel like that's not, the reciprocation of the communication isn't there. And I don't know what to do to bridge that gap.
Okay. Is it clearly defined what that communication should look like?
Okay. That could help. Instead of just saying, like, I need you to let me know what's going on, being more proactive and setting up expectations around, like, hey, I need you to, like, recap where you're at with your clients at the end of the week or at the beginning of the week.
Precisely.
Okay.
Because your expectation or definition of something can be different from somebody else's.
Right.
So if you say, oh, make sure you communicate and keep me up to date, your idea of that is much different than somebody else's.
Totally. Yeah.
So how do you, paint a better picture of what that looks like?
Okay.
Something I often do with my clients is like, you got to define that. What does it look like?
Okay.
Because we often keep that definition to ourselves and just assume that somebody else knows what we're talking about.
Totally. I could see that.
So if you want to hold somebody to an expectation, then you've got to clearly let them know, what does that look like?
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
I think that's very doable.
And then you're able to build trust.
Right.
Right? Because if they meet that expectation, then will you trust them?
Yeah, of course. Of course. So it starts with defining it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. They can't meet invisible expectations.
Right. I don't think anyone can.
Save that for your personal relationship too.
I will. No, that's a good one.
Yes.
I'm definitely putting that in the bank.
Yes, it's very helpful when you look to trust yourself or trust other people. You have to have a measurement, a metric. Like, how am I going to be able to trust you? Well, if you meet these expectations.
Right.
If you tell me you're going to follow up with me on Friday on your clients and you do, now I trust. And if that clearly defined expectation isn't met, then you're able to go a different route. Right? Of consequences, of adjustments, whatever needs to be done. But without the clearly defined expectation, you, one, likely don't get it met.
Right.
Don't build the trust. But two, it's really hard to have consequences tied to that because how did they even know what they were supposed to meet?
Right. Okay.
So that'll prevent you from having any consequences because you didn't really clearly define what they should be doing anyways.
Right. Okay. I think based on kind of like what we already have in place, I think we have the foundation for that. But now I think with the definition, it'll actually give it more substance for that trust to start flowing both ways.
Yes. And sometimes having that conversation, literally saying, I'm working on trusting you all. I'm working on trusting myself. This would be really helpful for me to start trusting you more if this expectation was met.
Totally.
Then everyone understands what the agenda is and the purpose of doing something like that.
Right, right. And I think being more transparent with my team is something that I'm working on, being honest with them when like I'm not at my best, and also wanting to not just be their boss, but be someone that they know they can come to like help them. Like being more of like that extra arm versus being that like helicopter hovering over.
Absolutely. That's a good place to be.
And I've actually started writing that out as like one of my intentions when I'm like journaling in the morning is like I want to help and be more of an assistance to my clients and my team in whatever way like they need me to be today. Like however that looks like. Maybe it's taking an unplanned phone call or maybe it's spending a little bit of extra time with someone or you know, coming in and giving clarity or assistance around something or just checking in and seeing how they're doing. And that requires me to slow down. Straight up. I have to slow down and be more patient with the flow of things.
Absolutely. And I hear kind of giving up some control there, which is a good growth opportunity for you.
Yeah.
It's not having this rigid, like, this is how it has to be at this time of the day. I can't take a call.
Yeah, I am super rigid because I feel like I'm very strict with my time. And the reason I'm so strict with my time is because I want to have more time to work on my business.
Sure.
And so I feel like me being almost selfish with my time so that I can do what I want to do when I'm not doing, you know, what I have to do is not really helping anyone.
Interesting.
Except me.
Kind of, right?
A little
because
bit, to an
you're still
extent,
here.
yeah.
So, yes. All right. How are we doing on getting you a breakthrough?
Really good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like things aren't as bad as what they were like swirling around in my head about like I'm not doing this right or I don't know what to do. And I think our time today has helped me to realize that like I actually am working towards what I want in terms of that outcome of leveling up and getting that better perspective and leading and not managing. And now I can recognize my pitfall for the micromanaging spiral. And I feel like I have so much more power and it's so much more attainable than what I thought it was going to be. Like I'm over here thinking like I need to start doing leadership courses and taking classes and reading all these books when actually you just need to slow down and start taking time to start like investing more into like my team and these relationships.
Absolutely. You know, I hear popping in at the end here that time scarcity.
Yeah.
And when we have a scarcity mindset around something, it creates less of it.
Right. I'm really glad you said that because one of my other affirmations that I just started writing these past like 2 weeks is I am attracting an abundant life.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And so I'm really glad you said that. It's very confirming that I do need to break off that limiting belief of there's not enough of this or there's not enough of that when there truly is.
Yes. So good. Well, wrap us up here, Audrey. Tell me what action looks like going forward for you with what you've learned.
So for me, it's definitely going home and writing out a few things. I think I need to give myself some like Post-it note reminders on my computer about slowing down, taking a break. And I think I need to rework my schedule a little bit too to give myself more time to review things and to give my team a little bit more of my time. And I also think it's in our upcoming team meetings, sitting down and really defining my communication expectations with them and putting some more deadline driven or more like specific action items on them so that we can have stronger communication.
Yes.
And really giving myself the tools like those, you know, writing out what I need, what I've accomplished so that I can go back to that. And giving myself a little bit more grace so that I can give a little bit more grace to my team and defining like really what does that look like and just making it more known in my everyday so that I kind of can't run from it or forget about it.
Yeah, bring that to the conscious mind. Do you associate like body language with feelings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something I saw you do a few times is this.
Yeah.
Like I want to like look out.
Yeah.
Think about that. The next time you get into that spot of feeling frustrated and you're getting ready to go down that default road, remember that you wanted to like look up and look over top of everything.
Okay.
You know, because you made that gesture a few times. And that really signifies you getting out of it, getting on top and looking over instead of getting in there.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Angie.
You are so welcome.
That's really good.
Best of luck and let me know how it goes.
I will.
Awesome. Thanks, Audrey.
Thank you, Angie.